Okay.
Hey guys, good morning. We are here this morning to kind of address all the mortgage questions and everything that you guys have been emailing or calling about. And thankfully, my good friend Orly Cohen with F&M Bank, she's one of my favorite go-to lenders, and she is here to help us answer a lot of these mortgage questions. So Orly, good morning. Thank
Good
you for
morning.
doing this.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
You and your family doing well during all this craziness?
Yep. Craziness is right. But yep, everyone's doing well so far. So far, so
Good,
good. Thank
good.
you.
I do want to preface on this that I am at home and I have my kids and dogs here. So if you guys happen to hear anything in the background, just ignore it. We're going to just,
Nothing most of us don't have.
yeah, gonna keep on going. So anyhow, and we got quite a few questions that we are going to go over. So I think what Orly and I have decided to do is we're going to kind of break it up into a couple segments, right, Orly?
Yes. Just to try to group the things that are similar.
Yeah, no, perfect. So with that in mind, just know that y'all can keep sending questions, and Orly and I can address those at another time if we happen to not address it today. So anyhow, the first one, Orly, was can I get a loan if I've been furloughed, or if I've been furloughed? Excuse me.
Sure. The quick answer is no, because we base loans on income, and if you're not working, you don't have an income. But let me caveat that with, I have quite a number of teachers who are still getting a full paycheck, even though they're not at work, and they're perfectly fine. So, as long as we know it's that kind of situation, but if someone is truly furloughed where they're at home, not getting paid, we have to wait until they're back at work. But banks know that COVID-19 is going on and people have been off, so that time off isn't going to be counted against them, in terms of qualifying. That's not going to be a problem. As soon as they're back, we just need a, paycheck showing full-time employment again, and we verify that. And so as soon as this is over, and, I think seems like things are slowly going to start getting back, then they're totally fine. They don't have to feel like they have to wait a year or 2 years until they can qualify.
Okay.
So for a new loan, I would say that. Let me also preface that I have some people that are furloughed now and are in the middle of a loan. And so sometimes that just puts it on hold. So like I have a refinance right now where someone's on hold until she goes back to work, and that's okay. With a purchase where you have a contract deadline, as you know, that's a little bit different. So I have one person like that who's furloughed and he got a cosigner. So we're making it work like that.
Okay. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. So as far as timeframes of all of that goes, I know you said things can be put on hold until they're back up and you guys can, kind of pick up where you left off.
Yes.
Is there, are you finding like timeframes for that as far as how long things are taking, how much that's affecting them to apply for the loan or to get their loan moving forward in the right direction?
Not really. I mean, for this one, as an example, who got furloughed and we needed a cosigner, kind of pulled it out of processing and underwriting for a few days until I got the cosigner to apply and sign his disclosures. And then it kind of scooted right back in line right where it was. And it's planning to close May 8th and we'll be on track. So we're not going to hold it off for that. The other one I have that I mentioned is a refinance, and refinances take 2 to 3 months anyway. So I had locked her for 75 days. So her loan lock doesn't expire till June 8th. So I just told her I'm just going to leave it as is, and hopefully she'll be back at work, early to mid-May, and we'll pick it right back up.
Well, and I want to pick off of you talking about refinancing. So the next question I want to go ahead and just ask is, can I refinance right now? Because I've got a lot of people who are calling because they hear interest rates are low, so their payments will be lower during this crazy time anyways, that, can I refinance?
Yep. If you have a job, whether you're working from home or in the office, if you have a paycheck, we can refinance you if it makes sense. Rates are great, typically low 3s if you have good credit, especially. So I'm literally doing 2 to 3 refinances a day because there's still a lot of people that have, 4.5% interest rate. I have one right now who's refinancing from 6%. So she's going to save a ton of money. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
just as long as they've got a consistent paycheck right now.
As long as they have a consistent paycheck, but I will add, due to COVID-19, guidelines are stricter. So if you have lower credit, like I'd say, you know, under 680, we need to look at it. Definitely under 660. The standards have gotten much stricter. Now's the time to work on your credit, do some things to improve it so that hopefully we can get you refinanced at a better rate.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Another question that I've gotten a lot of during this COVID-19 is, what is forbearance? And a lot of people want to know, is it the same as forgiveness?
Okay, yeah, good question. And I try to address this all the time. It is not the same as forgiveness. So this concerns me quite a bit because I think people hear like, oh, cool, I can be off my mortgage for, you know, 3 to 6 months. No big deal.
Right.
Well, in many cases, it is a very big deal. The CARES Act does say it can't affect your credit negatively, but I do have concerns that mistakes might happen and you might get reported late and then your credit gets lower. And if you've ever tried to correct anything with the credit bureau, that can be a nightmare. So I am concerned about that. The other thing that a lot of people don't realize is you're going to owe that money. So in some instances, some banks are tacking it on to the end of your mortgage. If that is truly the case, then it may be okay and it may be a good solution. But if not, and the way it works very often is they say, okay, you don't have to pay your mortgage for 3 to 6 months. So let's say your mortgage is $1,500. You don't pay for 6 months. On that 7th month, they go, I'm so happy you're back at work. You owe your $1,500 mortgage and $9,000, which most people don't have.
Yeah.
So then let's say you freak out and say, well, I don't have $9,000. And they go, okay, well, we're a friendly bank. We'll take that $9,000 and divide it out over 12 months and add it to your mortgage. So now your mortgage is $2,250 instead of $1,500 when they divide it out. And that might be a strain also. So I say very much mortgage holder beware.
Right.
If you are out of work, find any way and everything you can do to pay your mortgage if you haven't. Right now, if you didn't pay your April mortgage, I still would recommend, if you have any way at all, to pay it. You'll have a late fee, but that's much better than it hitting your credit report after May 1st. The other thing the CARES Act did, which can be helpful, is they took off a lot of the penalties for 401ks and things like that. You can maybe get a 401k loan. And I am not someone who likes to advocate people going into debt, but the damage from being late on your mortgage or even forbearance can be potentially negative. The other thing that they don't talk about is that even if it doesn't negatively affect your credit, it doesn't mean that you will be viewed the same for a mortgage in the future. So if you want to move or want to refinance later and you've been in forbearance, that's not the same as if you paid it on time every month. It's just not. So there may be a waiting period, a year or two. We don't know. We're not past this, but a big warning. So if there is any way at all to get to just pay your April mortgage, get into May, hopefully many people will be back at work. And then if a refinance makes sense, go ahead and start that process so we can lower your payment. You know, it's just, I'm concerned about forbearance. It's some people have no other option, but I'm concerned about it.
The other question I had, if somebody goes in forbearance, how does interest work during that time? You're still accruing?
I'd feel positive you're still accruing. Yeah, the banks, you signed a contract to pay that money at interest. And so yes, whether they tack it on at the end or how they do it, I'm positive there's still interest accruing. But again, you know, whoever has a mortgage needs to call their mortgage servicer and work out the details and make sure you get everything in writing. And making that comment reminds me, mortgage servicers have no idea what's going on with you personally. Do not assume because it's COVID, they excuse everybody. There is no such thing as universal mortgage forgiveness. So if you are in trouble, I know it's a stressful time, call your mortgage servicer. They have to know what's going on before they can help.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think those were our questions that we were going to cover today. Do you have anything, little nuggets you want to leave with anybody, or do you feel like we've covered everything?
I mean, I think those are definitely the most common questions. You know, I tend to be a positive person, so I'd say chin up. It looks like things are going to hopefully start to open slowly and safely, and we all need to recover the best that we can while staying safe and get back to work. And, you know, there'll be a light at the, you know, end of this. So just kind of keep working and make things work the best you can. And maybe you have a career change or something else, and you never know, maybe something positive, will come out of that.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate your time this morning, Orly, and answering all these questions. And we'll definitely pick up where we left off next week. And if anybody has any questions that they want to ask, we'll be sure to cover those whenever Orly and I meet up again. And if you guys need a great lender, feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to share Orly's contact information with you.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions they want, you can even leave them in the comments and we can address them as a whole.
Perfect. Thanks so much, my friend. And I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay.
All right,
Thanks.
bye.